So you want to pull for Yoimiya. Do you like blondes? Do you like bombs? Do you like bows? Do you like and fireworks? Do you like chaotic asymmetry? Then, my fellow comrade, Yoimiya might be for you. Let's get real. If you're into blondes, significantly active waifus who like to blow shit up, then you have to get her. No questions asked. And trust me, you'll like her, and we'll find some kind of a use for her later. Even though almost any other character can do her stuff gameplay wise too, and sometimes even better. Is she cool? Just look at her normal combo. She switches between her holding hands of the bow in the middle of a combo while in the air surrounded by enemies. She's an ambidexter person, I guess. Can you even imagine how hard it is to write with the left hand if you usually write with the right one, of course? And she just casually uses both during fights. I have personally seen nothing of the sort, and because of it, Yoimiya has a special place in my heart. It is a shame that if you use her burst, you won't be able to see the full splendor of it. For a while I thought it was a meh, some small explosion, but in reality it is much bigger and beautiful. Her design overall is very appealing. Every part of her clothing or jewelry, if you call it like that, is different from her counterpart on the other side. This is what I call uniqueness. Her only role is main DPS. And before you say, hey dude, the cooldown on her skill is pretty low, you need another damage dealer beside her. To that I say I never had this problem. If you time it right with the other support character skills, you shouldn't even notice those 18 seconds. I run her with 3 other supports and everything functions surprisingly good. It's even viable in a Spiral Abyss. The gameplay is relatively brain dead. You just press one button and spam the normal combo, uninterrupted in the best case scenario. This is one of her main weaknesses. Without some kind of a shield, every single enemy in the game can interrupt her and, in the worst case scenario, kill her. Even fucking random elemental reactions might send her flying. The other weakness is tied to the previous one, and is the fact that the strongest parts of her combo are the 2 last shots, which are impossible to execute if the enemies are in your face constantly. Thank God during most of the boss battles it is possible to sneak in a couple of the 2 last shots of her combo, since most of them attack slowly and not too often. For me, only hypostasis bosses are troublesome. This is mainly because of their unregular vulnerability phases. She's surprisingly good against Thunder Manifestation and kinda useful against Ruin Serpent too. Her kit focuses on her enhanced normal attacks through her elemental skill. Her burst only procs during the attacks of other characters, which I find bullshit. Why can't it also proc during Yoimiya's combos? This just makes her whole kit weird. Not useless, just weird. Since if you use her with characters like Shanling, Yelan or Shinkyu, then you'll see the damage, which isn't much. But it's there, I guess. Now, you might think it is easy to play a bow character in this game. Just press the attack button and the auto-aim will do the rest, right? Well, wrong! Sometimes even Yoimiya herself will miss if the enemies move too much, and some of them do move sporadically, occasionally. Imagine if there was an elemental reaction that sends the enemies flying. Yes, Fire plus Electro will make the targeting hell for Yoimiya, so don't use it at least against smaller enemies. In the end, everything you'll achieve will be unintended juggles. Melee characters can still work this out, since they just have to get in the face of the enemies and attack them non-stop. The go-to bow for her is Rust. If you're wondering why, just read the description of it. And if you've been playing this game for a while, that means you'll at least have one of these. If you have multiples of it refined, then my dear friend Lady Luck hasn't smiled upon us. And if you've been wishing on the weapon banners, then you'll also have my pity. Now, there are a couple of artifact sets to use on her. Scarlet Witch set and Shimemawa something. I personally run Scarlet 1 since I'm mostly trying to trigger the elemental reactions. Keep in mind, substats are more important, so if you have perfect artifacts but no sets, don't worry, 2 artifact sets are also useful. Stick her with 2 or 3 supports and you're good to go. My team looks like this. Bennett is a no-brainer, his good in almost any comp, especially without the Constellation 6. Yelan is also self-explanatory. Constant application of wet status effect with the burst can be devastating in combination with Yoimiya's elemental skill. After her elemental skill ends, there will usually be a couple of seconds of cooldown. In this instance, you can use Bennett's and Yelan's skills, plus her charged shot, if it's available, and try to recharge the elemental burst gauge. It only takes Yelan's burst and Yoimiya's elemental skill to deal a lot of damage. Slap Bennett's burst down too, and now you have even more power. She can easily remain inside the circle and do a lot of damage. Since we have one more place in a team, it is possible to add even more damage by putting either Opera Singer or Geodaddy. Zhongli can even put a shield for her. That will put a stop to all of the interruptions. Since we have Bennett, another healer does not make much sense in this comp. Now you might say, are you crazy? Two of the best supports in the game can make any DPS character deal a lot of damage. Well, you are right, and that's how Genshin Impact works. But if you don't have these supports, don't worry. You can use other supports like Xingqiu, Shanling, Thoma too, Yunjin. Almost every character can give some kind of buff. The go-to elemental reactions are naturally Vaporize, Freeze, Melt, or no reactions can net you high damage numbers too, especially with Yunjin. Let's summarize. If aesthetically you dig this, or these, then pull for her, no questions asked. If you already have a pyro DPS like Hu Tao, then don't pull for her, since then you'll have to decide which one of them you're going to use. If you have no supports for her, which not necessarily need to be the best ones, then don't be surprised if her damage isn't much. If you plan to build her as a support, forget about her. And if you enjoy a much simpler gameplay, then she's the best waifu for you. I hope I helped you in your predicament, and I'll see you someday again, I hope. Bye bye.